And welcome back to another episode of Stu and Him Productions presents
J&M Solve the World. I'm James.
and I am Matt. Wrong one.
They're laughing at you.
It wouldn't be the first time. Tonight's topic, bands we wish we could have seen. Whether it be they're still around and it's a certain time period, or it's a band that is no longer around, or, you know, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, neither one of us are old enough to have went and seen Jimi Hendrix.
No.
That would, you know, as guitar players, or speaking for myself, not for
Yeah.
you, but as a guitar player, I would have loved to see Hendrix live.
Yeah.
That would have, you know, because, well, you know, and I've never seen Jeff Beck or Eric Clapton, any of those guys live too, and that would be cool too. But I know they're both still around, and to see them now would be cool. But
Yeah.
to see them back in the day would be like really freaking cool.
Well, yeah, I mean, it'd be like, yeah, you could go to a certain festival and see Zeppelin, you know,
Right.
with Plant, Jones, Page, and Bonham.
Yeah.
But it's Jason Bonham and not John Bonham. But I
Right.
mean, that's about as close as you're ever going to get.
Yeah.
You can still go see Queen, but it's with Adam Lambert, and it's
And-
Queen with Adam Lambert, not.
And I gotta say, I seen them on. I don't remember. They done a special on television, and he's really good.
Yeah, I mean, he's not
But-
bad, but he's
but I
not
would like-
Freddie Mercury.
But yeah, I'd like to see Freddie Mercury back in the day.
I mean, that's
know,
that's like when the Doors toured with Ian Ashbury from The Cult.
Right.
It was, and you know, they tried to do it as the Doors, and then it was like, no, you guys can't use that name, so
Right.
they did the Doors of Perception, where Jim Morrison had gotten the name from the book Doors of Perception.
Right.
So,
And that's another band I'd like to see him back in the '60s. You know, but you know, I don't think I could have got in at 3 years old.
no.
Well, maybe back then. I mean,
I don't think, you know, just personally, and, you know, I didn't come into this band until later in life, but I would have loved to have seen, like, the Street Survivor era Leonard Skinner.
oh yeah.
Like, you know, Ronnie Van Zant had already kicked the drug habit. You know, he was clean again, and it's like they were firing on all cylinders. And you know, that's the band that, you know, it was all because of the behind the music is the reason why. Because at first I was like, who the fuck are these guys? This Southern rock bullshit. What the fuck?
I've heard Freebird too many times. and
Right.
blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
You know,
That's kind of like, you know, we were talking on one of our other podcasts that, you know, the local rock station in Springfield here, it's classic rock. And it's like, God, guys, I know Led Zeppelin had more than 2 songs.
right?
I know that Leonard Skinner had more than 2 songs. You know?
Yeah.
And, you know, I really didn't become a Zeppelin fan because my first wife, she hated Led Zeppelin because supposedly her boyfriend made her listen to Stairway to Heaven over and over again, and he cried about
The forbidden song.
about his ex-girlfriend or some shit. I don't know what the hell. That's been too many years ago. But I watched the Led Zeppelin behind the music. I mean, that's, you know, and Metallica's been compared to that, and it's true. I mean, they were the Metallica of the 70s. They, you know.
Well, even their book, Hammer of the Gods. I mean, that Jesus Christ, the shit that they did back then. But I mean, you know, it was a different time,
Right.
and you know, Record companies didn't give a shit. If as long as you were selling albums, you were selling tickets, you were selling merch, they didn't give a shit.
Right.
Oh, you just fucking OD'd? Okay, what is this going to do to my wallet?
Right. Well, and that continued through the 80s and stuff too. You know, and when the hair bands were huge and the record companies were like going, well, shit, Motley Crue, Poison, and all these guys are, and Warrant, and all these guys are doing great. So we're going to like put these bands together. You know, they'd get these players from GIT and whatever and put them together. And it's like, this is the next new thing. And it's like, they diluted it down so much, you know.
Right. And it just didn't sound right.
Right.
Yeah.
But, I mean, people know when it's honest and you're out there performing your shit.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's made up, this is what the record company wants you to do. Da, 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 da.
I mean, I would have loved to have seen Motorhead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I never had that chance.
I'd have loved to see Motorhead in a club about the size of the Regency Showcase in Springfield. You know, where no matter where you were at, you were going to be close. Especially in the front row of the balcony up there, because that was, because you were actually further ahead than half the people on the floor.
Right.
You know.
And you weren't like having to bob around to see, oh, can I see the band? Can I see the band? You know, I mean, hell, even when we saw Anthrax at the Juke Joint.
Right.
With Life of Agony and Finger Eleven. Bless you.
Thank you.
You know, seeing Anthrax in that setting was fucking badass. And granted, we were front row. I mean, we were up against it.
Well, we fought our way.
Yeah. But I mean, it was fucking awesome. Right. When as a band, we went and saw Metallica in Kansas City at Kemper Arena. We were up in the fucking nosebleeds, but it was the best place to see them.
Yeah, because of their whole stage blew the fuck up.
Right. We got to see the whole stage show and everything.
If it would have been down close, we'd been like, what? And you couldn't have seen it all. But where we were at, it was like, what the hell is going on here?
Well, it's like,
damn,
bro. Are you just egging for fucking attention here?
I guess. What's going on? That's what I'm trying.
But it's... you know, I'm paying decent money to see a band. Mm-hmm. That's the thing, is I want to see the band.
Right.
I don't want to, you know, I saw Metallica back in '94 when I came back from Somalia. Right. And it was Fight, Suicidal, Candlebox, and Metallica. For Fight, I was like 3 people back from the rail, and I got some pretty, I mean, they're blurry, but I got some pretty decent pictures of Rob. And then for Suicidal, I got in this fucking humongous fucking pit, and I mean, it was fucking nuts.
Right.
And then for Metallica, I was like, you gonna live?
I think so, maybe.
For Metallica, I had pulled back because I was fucking dead ass fucking exhausted.
You just beat the fuck up.
And, you know, it was like at that moment, it was just like a light bulb. Bing. I'm paying money to see this band. I want to see the band.
Right.
Now, I saw Megadeth in a club in San Diego with Corrosion and Conformity. Now, that one was a little different because it was a club, and I fucking fought my way up to the front.
Right, yeah.
But then I saw Danzig, Halloween Night, which was, oh my God, Irvine Meadow Center, and we were up in the stands, and it was great because we got to be able to see the whole fucking stage.
Right.
And it was just like, okay, I'm you know, at that point I was like, you know, 20, 21, 22 years old. And I'm like, fuck, I am not spending this money to go down into the pit and not see this band.
Right.
Saw Pantera in 1996 headline the Great Western Forum. I was up in the fucking stands because.
Did you see Pantera down at Swissville?
Yes, Lampe, Missouri,
Lampe,
1992, opening up for Skid Row.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was lucky. I always wanted to see Pantera. I was gonna go to that show with you guys, and no, it wasn't that show. It was at the Shrine Mosque in Springfield, Missouri. It was Pantera and Typo Negative.
Oh.
And I was gonna go to that show, but I had just recently separated from my first wife and shit, and I was like down and up. I should have went to the fucking show. It'd have made me feel better. It's kind of like working out, you know.
Yeah.
But I didn't go. And a guy that I worked with, I was like, "Man, how was the show?" And he's like, "It is okay." I'm like, "Really?" He goes, "Dude, it fucking kicked ass, man." We were sitting at the back of the fucking shrine because he wasn't going to get down in the pit because he was a pussy. But shout out, Bubba. No. But he's like, "No, is that fucking cool?" He said, "When Pantera fucking hit the stage, people were coming out of the pit with their skulls busted open and shit." You know, I'm like, "Oh fuck, I wish I'd have went now." You know?
Yeah.
Because I could have worked out some aggression in that deal for a little bit at least, you know.
No kidding.
I seen Megadeth in '93. Whenever I think it was on the Countdown to Extinction tour.
Okay.
It was before Dave overdosed.
Yeah.
And there's this little band called Stone Temple Pilots open for him.
Okay.
Everybody ever heard of that?
I think they had a hit.
I'd heard of one song at that point, you know. And we were right up front, and there was one person between me and the guardrail, and I could tell that Dave Mustaine had not shaved that day. You know, and that concert was cool. It was. I mean, I couldn't do that today.
Yeah.
Because I'm an old fat guy. Because there was points in that show that if I'd have picked my feet up, I wouldn't have fell.
That was the Megadeth Corrosion and Conformity show that I saw in that club in San Diego. I had pushed my way up to the front, and there was 3. I assume they were special operations Navy guys on one side of me, and 2 more on the other side of me.
Right.
And yeah, I actually did pick my feet up, and I did not fall.
No.
And I was up in front of little Dave Ellison's side of the stage, and it was just like, fuck, man, this is badass.
Mm-hmm. The only bad thing, we went and seen Megadeth at Remington's.
Okay.
It was a big country bar, but they'd have acts come through and everything. We seen Megadeth. I don't remember who even opened for them. But we got up front, and the sound sounded like shit. And I got to noticing they all had the in-ear monitors at that time.
Right.
And so there was no stage volume. Basically, I mean, it was like you could hear the amps, but you couldn't hear any vocals or nothing like that. And we're fighting to stay up there. And there's this one big guy. I mean, I'm 6'1", whatever. And this guy,
depending on what convenience store you come out of.
Exactly. Yeah. But there's this one big guy, and I'm like, "You hold your side, I'll hold my side." And we're like, and all of a sudden his side collapsed. And we almost went down. It's like, we got to get the fuck out of here. Because my wife was with me and everything, and we got out of there. And we went back, and at that bar, they had these little, it was like these little railings around there because it was a country bar. So they would 2-step around the outside and line dance on the inside.
Right.
So they had the soundboard back there, and we set up on one of them rails. It was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
We were right there by the soundboard. That's the best sound you're going to get is right by the sound guy.
Right.
You know?
Well, you know, when we go see Anthrax and Black Label in August, we're up in the balcony at the Midland, and we're, if I remember correctly, 2 rows up from the edge of the balcony.
Perfect.
So Oh, fuck yeah, because
Perfect.
A, I'm too fucking old to be down on the floor.
Yeah.
B,
I can do it for 5 minutes.
well,
And then my
right.
cardio's like going to go, no.
You know, I've seen Anthrax, and I love Anthrax. I mean, they're my favorite Big Four band.
Do you remember the night we went and seen Anthrax at my stepdaughter Amanda? She, I don't know how she done it, but she squished through the bicycle barricade rail. Remember that shit?
Yeah.
Because she's like, I gotta get out. 'Cause, I mean, what did the juke joint hold? 900 people,
Maybe.
maybe, but
Yeah.
it was full.
Right.
You know, and our drummer Pip, he comes in there, he's like, "Hey, you want a beer?" And I'm like, "Sure." He's like, just poured it in my mouth.
It was, you know, I've never seen Black Label, and that's the thing is I really want to see Black Label. I've never had the
Are they gonna do
chance.
some Black Sabbath or some Zach Sabbath?
I don't know.
That'd be cool.
You know, I never got to see Anthrax with Joey
Yeah, me neither. Yeah.
because John was singing with him then, and
and that was good. I
yeah,
like that version of Anthrax.
Right.
You know, with John Corabi, that was
No, John
or
Bush.
John Bush. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
John Corabi was in the
Motley Crue. Yeah.
I get my Johns mixed up there. But yeah, that was. I mean, I liked those
Yeah.
CDs they put out and everything.
Right.
But it's like we were talking when you a lot of bands can lose a guitar player or a drummer or something, but it's like Motley Crue when Vince Neil was out and they hired John Corabi.
Right.
That record was a good record,
But it wasn't a Motley Crue record.
but it wasn't a Motley Crue record.
Right.
You know, the Vince Neil solo stuff sounded more like Motley Crue
Right.
than that record did.
Well, and it was,
But,
you know,
like I say, it had some good songs.
right. It's just like Skinner,
Yep.
if you will. You know, after the plane crash, and then they decided to get back together, and they brought in Ronnie Van Zant's younger brother, Johnny, to sing for him. You know, it took them a while before people actually accepted them as Skinner. And
True,
even towards the end, it was like, oh, you know, these are the new guys. And it's like, you realize that
But
Johnny Van Zant has been in Skinner longer than his brother had been. Recorded more albums than his brother had.
and honestly, you know, he sounded great.
Yeah,
You know, I'm not a big Skinner fan. I mean, I like some of their songs and stuff, but you know, the first Skinner show they done back,
yeah.
they had no singer.
No.
They played Freebird with a microphone and a spotlight on it.
And somebody had taken Johnny Van Zant's hat and put it on the microphone.
Right.
And it was just like, okay, whoever decided to do that was a fucking genius.
Exactly.
Now, in my possession, I have an original pressing of Street Survivors.
With the
Signed,
fire.
yes.
Really?
And it is signed by Gary Rossington and Billy Powell.
Wow.
Two of the surviving members, two of the members of Lynyrd Skynyrd that survived the plane crash.
Wow. That is
Now, if I ever get a chance to meet Artemis Pyle, who was the drummer at the time, who I don't envy that guy whatsoever because Cassie Gaines died in his arms.
cool. Right.
But I would love to have him sign the record as well.
Yeah.
And the record, it includes a ticket stub from the '89 tour, like when they all got back together and they that first tour they did.
Uh-huh.
And then it also has a business card from their tour manager at that time.
Really?
Yes.
That's cool.
But you know, I mean, that's just me, and it's like I said, you know, the VH1 behind the music stuff really opened my eyes to a lot of music that
Oh,
I had
yeah.
fucking what the fuck ever.
Well, you know, You talk about that. Green Day.
Yeah.
When they first came out, I'm going, of course, that was kind of the killing of the hair metal bands and
Yeah.
everything, you know, and I'm like, fuck these guys.
Yeah, it
you
was like
know?
new age punk.
Yeah. And then I watched Behind the Music, I'm like, I didn't realize I had so many cool songs. you
Well, I
know?
mean, we had one of their songs in our set.
Exactly. You know, but I'm like, okay, you know, so, I mean, that's, you know, I've said this on previous podcasts. I'm not married to my ideas.
Right.
You know, I could change my thought on something after research or just life.
Yeah.
I mean, like we're old enough, we've experienced life.
Yes.
you know,
And it used to be like when I first started riding, and I'd put in my headphones, ride my motorcycle. I'd put in my headphones and I would listen to, like Pantera or just music, right?
yeah,
That I fucking loved. And now it's Blackberry Smoke. It's Leonard Skinner. It's just AC/DC. It's shit that's just fucking relaxing. The new,
ACDC's relaxing.
yeah, I mean because it's good fucking rock and roll.
Right.
Speaking of new music that is relaxing, the new Mark Tremonti. Mark Tremonti sings Frank Sinatra.
Oh, really?
Holy shit. Never knew this guy had a fucking voice like that. And 100% of the proceeds goes to Down syndrome research.
Really?
Yes.
Nice.
Did not know it, but apparently he
I'll
has
check
a
that out 'cause I
child.
haven't
Oh, dude.
heard of him, but yeah.
Oh my God. He has one of his children was born with Down syndrome. And I mean, it's a fucking phenomenal album. And he uses the band that backs him up. It has members of Frank Sinatra's original band.
Really? Those guys are still alive?
Yeah, yeah. Some of them are. Some of them are.
Okay.
But
You want to talk about bands that we would love to have seen live? Some of the newer bands.
Mhm.
Hell yeah.
Oh God.
I'm drawing a blank here. Diamond,
Vinny, Damage Plan.
Damage Plan.
Yeah.
You know, that would have been cool. I'd want. I'd love to see Pretty Reckless live. I haven't seen them yet. I've seen In This Moment, and I've seen Hailstorm
Mm-hmm.
a couple different times. I've seen Hailstorm like 3 times. Awesome rock band. You want to talk
Oh,
about
yeah.
a rock and roll band.
Yeah.
In This Moment, but we got cats wanting in apparently.
It's not happening.
No. But Pretty Reckless, I'd love to see them. They've done a tour before it was. They did a tour with those 3: Hailstorm, In This Moment, and Pretty Reckless.
Yeah.
It was like that'd be a show I'd like to see.
Well, and they didn't. Who was it? It was Hailstorm, Lita Ford, and was it Pretty Reckless? Or
When
In
I
This Moment?
seen that tour up to Galois in Springfield, it was Hailstorm with Lita Ford, and the opening band was Dorothy.
Okay.
And yeah,
Yeah.
Dorothy's they got a new album out now, and
Yeah.
I've heard the song what is the name of that? But it's it's because when I seen her walk out on stage, I'm like going, God damn, girlfriend, you're playing in front of Lita Ford and Lizzie Hale.
Yeah.
You're in trouble. and she opened her voice and started singing. I'm like, going, oh no, you got this.
Yeah.
You know, they're a good band.
All right, so maybe this will help. I don't know.
I have kitty cats.
I would have loved to have seen the Runaways.
Oh yeah.
You know, but I've always had a thing, and I'm not gonna say it's a sexual thing or anything like that, but I've always had a thing for female rock bands, the Donnas. You know, oh my God, they're fucking awesome. Kitty, like I saw Kitty open up for Seven Dust in a club in Arizona with a little unknown, unsigned band at the time called Papa Roach.
Oh yeah. Who are those guys?
Yeah, exactly. But you know, women that.
What about the Bengals?
Well, I mean the Bengals, yeah. Vixen, I would have loved to have seen them. You know, and we opened up for them, but I didn't stick around for the show because
Yeah.
I had a funeral I had to go to.
Yep.
In Illinois, and driving from fucking Branson, Illinois.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I made it from. Let's see, I worked all day.
Did you travel on Route 66?
Yeah, actually, I did. I had worked most of that day. We did this show. I left Branson, stopped at my apartment, mine and Chris's apartment in Lebanon, showered, packed a bag. I made it to Rolla before I had to fucking stop and get some sleep because I was fucking just exhausted.
Right.
And those of you that have ever tried to sleep in a car, fuck that. I'm just gonna say, yeah. So I've slept in a car, I've slept in my truck. It just fucking sucks.
They used to put, you remember where the Southern Star was at?
Yeah.
And before you got out on 13 Highway, there was commuter parking.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a couple of nights that's like, yeah, we've had too much drink. We stopped at commuter parking and done whatever and slept.
Yeah.
For a few
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's about our time for this one. Again, just talking about bands that we wish we could have saw, time period or whatever. But I've been Matt.
I'm James.
And you have just watched the latest episode of
J&M Solve the World. Like and subscribe.
And leave us a comment below on if you agree, if you disagree. Let us know what you think, what bands you would love to have seen. But until next time, we will be seeing you